Hey, what's up, y'all? It's N Square Sports back. Today we're doing the NFC East. So we're gonna start with the Cowboys. Last year they went 10-6. My floor for them this year is 5-11, and my ceiling is 11-5. I know it's a pretty wide margin, but my reason for that is basically because of Dak and how far he can improve, and also Zeke if he even comes back or if maybe he holds out. I think that's the reason. If Zeke holds out and Dak doesn't improve much, I could see them going around 5-11. But if both of them is that Dak improves and Zeke comes back and plays really well, they could go all the way up to 11-5, especially with the division. Besides the Eagles, the other two teams are not very good. So, what do you have?
I am a believer in the Cowboys, but I do see your point exactly. Is that Dak and Zeke? Well, Zeke specifically needs to show up, and Zeke's the best running back in the NFL. I don't want to hear anything else. He's the best in the NFL, and Dak is good enough in my opinion. But my floor is 6-10. My ceiling is 13-30, because I thoroughly believe that they have the talent on that roster to win the Super Bowl. If Zeke and Dak can stay healthy, which has not been a problem anytime, and they are both there for the season, I will stand upon my belief that they are Super Bowl contenders because of them. They have Amari Cooper, who's not complaining about the money, and Dak started showing something with Amari Cooper there that I saw a little bit of potential. You got Byron Jones, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch on the defense, who that's some talent right there. And that team can hold its own against any offense in the league. And I believe that offense has potential to beat any team or put itself in a position where the defense can win the game. Players to watch is Travis Frederick. He's coming back from, I believe it was cancer, but don't quote me on that. Or it was like a
heart issue or something like that.
And he was one of the best in the NFL. So I want to see him come back as a human. I'm glad to see him back doing what he is doing.
Yeah.
I think he can go up to maybe not all pro level, but he's going to be a solid center and player for the Cowboys. Byron Jones and Jalen Smith, I want to see play because that's going to be interesting free agent stories next season. And I believe if them two play really well next season, I think that defense is going to be top 10, top 8.
Okay, Cowboys aren't Super Bowl contenders. I don't care what. I'm not going to say that. I mean, they're playoff caliber team, but I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders. And my whole reason is Dak. If Dak can prove me wrong this year, I don't think it's going to happen, but he is my sole reason they're not Super Bowl contenders, because I don't think he's very good. I think he's a bottom 15 quarterback in the NFL, starting quarterback, not any quarterback. But Zeke, probably the best in the NFL. Their defense, one of the best in the NFL also. But Dak is, quarterback's the most important position on any NFL team. So, you need a quarterback, and when you don't have, you can have the best roster, but if you don't have a good quarterback, you can't really do too well. So I don't see it with them. But I think the division games are important. The 2 games against the Eagles are going to be big. Players to watch, like you said, the linebacker core with Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, they're 2 huge players that are going to be really good. Those are my players to watch. So anything else on the Cowboys?
Just biggest games. Eagles are week 7, week 16. Watch a week 16 game. Man, that's going to be fun. I'm going to be watching that. And week 14 at the Bears. That's going to be an interesting game because that's going to be critical to determining playoff seeding. Going to be big, fun, great game. Okay, so the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, what do you think?
So the Eagles went 9-7 last year, just 1 game behind the Cowboys. I have their floor at 7-9 this year, and their ceiling at 13-3. I'm a little higher than them than they were last year, and than the Cowboys. But I think they're definitely the favorites in the division, in my opinion, right now. I think they just have a really good roster. And Carson Wentz, if he comes back healthy and better than last year, which I think he will, I think they have the entire package across their roster to really make a Super Bowl run. I do think this team is a Super Bowl contender, but not the Cowboys. Go ahead.
So the Eagles' floor is 7-9. I don't unless injuries take over them, which is definitely a case with that team where they have had injury issues, especially last year. This team could collapse, but a 7-9 is reasonable, expecting 1 or 2 injuries. I have the ceiling is 15-1. I honestly believe this team could be the best in the NFL if Wentz stays healthy. We saw what he could do already.
Yeah.
This team has a great O-line, good enough defense. Actually, it's a pretty talented defense. The corners are a little weak, but they can make up for that in the pass rush and their safeties. I think Wentz is an MVP candidate, to be honest. They have Nelson Aguilar. That's someone I want to watch. Sort of a big season for him, whether he possibly a trade candidate for some teams. Miles Sanders, someone they just recently drafted with Jordan Howard. Can the running game be fluent? Can it work well? So yeah, what are the biggest games for you?
So I don't have a ton of big games for them. I'm sure they have a lot, but I think just the division games versus the Cowboys. Like I said about the Cowboys, the Eagles are big, and then because that's a pretty big rival, I can't even say that word, between the Cowboys and Eagles. But yeah, do you have any?
Just the Cowboys and Week 12 versus Seattle. Seattle usually gets the best of the Eagles, but I believe Seattle can win this. But the Eagles need to win this because this is going to be critical at getting the number 1 seed or 2 seed for their team. So the next team, the Redskins.
So let's move on to the Redskins. They went 7-9 last year. I really love the quarterback on the Redskins, as I have mentioned previously on a lot of my other videos that we've made. I still have their 4 at 3-13, and they're still at 6-10. Though I love their quarterback, the rest of their team just isn't good, and I just don't believe that with the Eagles and Cowboys in their division, they'll play each of those teams combined 4 times, and they probably won't win any of those. So that kind of really hurts when you have a tough division. Yeah, and I really can't even think of any of their players, to be honest, because they have a bad roster.
And
that's all I have to say.
They're not going to get Trent Williams. I don't think Trent Williams is going to show up.
Stay.
This is not a money thing for Trent Williams. I mean, he doesn't like the team at all. He does not want to play. And he's the best left tackle in the game, or top 3 in the game. And that's a big loss if you lose him. So the Redskins really have the same thing. I got more I could honestly see them going 1-15 to about 7-9. 7-9 is a stretch. It's a real stretch, and I'd have to make a lot of really stretched out cases for winning games.
Yeah, the only reason I had them at 6-10 for the ceiling is because I think Case Keenum, to start the year, I think he'll have the veteran presence to win just a couple of games, and I think Case Keenum will win them 3 games just because he's a veteran. He knows how to play in the NFL.
That offense does have running talent. I mean, you have one of the greatest runners in Adrian Peterson and Darius Guice, who I'm a fan of. If they come back pretty strong, I think they can run the ball pretty well, and the defense can show up sometimes. I'm not expecting much from this team. In my opinion, it's Jay Gruden's last season.
Yeah.
It's nothing fun about the Washington Redskins.
They're pretty boring.
In the biggest games, there's really none. I mean, if they want any chance, they got to win the division games, and that's...
They might be the Giants twice. You never know. And let's go into the Giants, speaking of them. Last year, they went 5-11. I don't even know how they won 5 games last year, but I have their 4 at 1-15, and their ceiling at 3-13. They're just... But besides Saquon Barkley, the rest of their team's just bad. Worse than the Redskins. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, the ceiling, I honestly could make a strong argument that this team goes 0-16. This is the team that has the biggest chance of going winless. Yeah. Most wins I could see is honestly 5. Eli Manning, he's just bad now.
Yeah.
The wide receivers are getting injured faster than I can blink. I mean, they just boom, boom, boom. They're gone. Suspended, injured. Yeah. They got no one. Evan Ingram. Ooh. Saquon. Great running back. Love watching him. He's going to put up some highlight reels. The only thing fascinating about that team.
I think he could win them 1 or 2 games by himself, but that's kind of it. I don't think.
They got Jabril Peppers on the other side in the trade, and they got Alec Ogletree. He's not that good. That's really all they have on defense. This team is contending for the number 1 overall pick, and that's pretty evident to show.
I agree.
You really got anything else on this? It'll be fun to watch Daniel Jones. I'd say
maybe.
probably week 6 is whenever he starts.
Yeah, this is a pretty top-heavy division with the Cowboys and Eagles, and then it just goes down from there. So I think that's it on the NFC East. So we have the NFC West to go in this division, and we'll see you guys next time.